This video is intended for mature audiences. I do not condone the use of drugs, legal or illegal. You're responsible for your own decisions. This video is for entertainment purposes only.
All I remember is I was being tortured. And then I remembered Satan, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I was in fucking hell.
Let me come again.
Hey guys, it's Activity here, and first off, I just want to get out of the way the whole inactivity thing that's been going on with me lately. So, if you're a follower of my channel, all four of you, you probably noticed that I haven't uploaded in a while, and that this is a reoccurring thing for me. And the reason for this is basically because sometimes my free time just gets thrown out the window. Right now, in particular, I do not have a space in which I can really be completely alone. Like, I have roommates and shit, so I can't really talk about the things I want to talk about in these videos out loud. It's usually drug-related content at this point. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the time that I tripped on Salvia. And I know I made that Benadryl video talking about it was probably my biggest regret. But honestly, that was before I tripped on the Salvia. And this is now my biggest regret. This makes that trip look like a spectacular trip. This was fucking horrifying. And a lot of you are probably going to ask, why do you never upload good trip stories? And I don't know, I just figured that these are more entertaining. But I do want to say that I've had more good than bad. And I've had some fucking crazy ones that were pretty neutral. But, in my opinion, the bad ones are kind of more entertaining, and I really don't like talking about this one. It took me a while to actually upload this one. It brings back memories that really fuck with me, because honestly, I couldn't remember anything that happened at first. It took like months and months for it to start coming back to me. So I bought 10x extract of Salvia divinorum, I think. And I'm not gonna tell you where I got it, because that's, don't do it. If you're gonna do anything, don't do Salvia. So, I'm kind of trying to think of where I should start. I guess I'll start at when I first completely tried it, and then when it first actually had a realistic effect on me. When I first completely tried it, I was scared. So I kind of just took a pinch of it and put it in a bowl with some weed, and I took maybe 2 hits off of it, 2 pretty big hits, held them in for as long as I could, and nothing really happened. Like, it kind of felt weird compared to like just a normal weed high, but it wasn't anything like I expected it to be. So I went ahead and packed more into it, to the weed. This time I did a much bigger pinch and pressed it in there with some weed and smoked that. And I can't really tell you what happened. It wasn't. All I know is that it wasn't much of an effect. It was mostly just me kind of zoned out on the couch, I just kind of laid there, staring at the ceiling, not thinking about anything, just kind of I think I did see some shadows kind of moving on the ceiling a little bit, but it was very minute. It was, you have to really focus to kind of see it. So then the next day, I went ahead and did packed half the bowl full with Salvia, and then the rest of it with the weed, and I fucking finished that bowl. I smoked the living shit out of it. I did it as fast as I could. And I felt really weird, and I was seeing some really minor visuals. But I wanted to break through. That was the reason I bought Salvia, was I wanted to break through I didn't want to do it with acid because I didn't want to be gone for hours, you know? So, I packed the whole bowl with salvia. The dosing, I'm gonna guess, was about like a third of a gram of this 10x extract. So that would be 3 grams of the leaf, I guess, something around there. And so what happened to me was, and this was right after I did the weed and the salvia, so total it was more like about 5 or 6 grams. And also weed, like mixed in there too. Held in for as long as I could hold it in. And I can't still recall exactly what happened, but at the time, it just felt like a blackout. Like, it felt like I blacked out. Like, around 8 minutes after that happened, I just remember, like, snapping back into reality. And I was crying. I was in tears. And I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And my whole body felt extremely, extremely sensitive. And my headspace was so fucking weird. I hated being on the couch. It felt like the fabric on the couch felt like needles were poking into my skin, like 1,000 needles. So I got up off the couch and got on and stood up on the floor, and I just remember feeling like I was stuck to the carpet and that 1,000 needles were pushing up into my feet from the carpet. And this didn't make any sense to me at the time. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've never heard people talking about this. But the thing about salvia is that the effect is pretty based on the trip you have. Whereas with acid, you can kind of guess what the high is going to be like, but you never know what the trip's going to be like. With salvia, it's like you never know what the trip's going to be like, and you never know what the high is going to be like. And so later, I just remembered like being tortured. Like, I kind of thought about it. I was like, what happened during that trip? And it wasn't until I really took acid that I kind of started flashing back to it. And I just remember Satan himself. It was kind of like I was in a dream. Like, that's the only way I can really describe it. Like, it felt like, when I remembered it, I kind of thought it was a dream. I was like, was this a dream? Like, why am I thinking about this? And I was like, after the acid trip was over, I started thinking about that salvia trip, and I was like, fucking what happened? And I was like, all I remember is I was being tortured. And then I remembered Satan, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I was in fucking hell. That was my salvia trip. I went into the depths of hell. I experienced ego death. Well, I don't even know if you can call it ego death, because I was still kind of me. If you guys don't know what ego death, it's kind of like when you leave your body and you die. Like, you die and then you leave your body during a trip. And that's, I guess, what happened to me. Like, all I knew was that 1 minute I was smoking salvia, and then the next minute I was in fucking hell. I didn't know why. I didn't know what happened, really. Or even I might have known. I didn't even know I smoked a drug while I was in hell, though. Which made me cry. Like, I just remember breaking down in tears, being fucking poked with needles throughout my entire body, one at a time. And then finally, when it got to like 4,000, it felt like I was in there for years. And I came back. And I was paranoid and freaking out, and I didn't know why. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, what? I was like, okay, so I just smoked. I was like, what happened? I was like, okay, yeah, I smoked salvia. And I was like, what happened though? I was like, why am I crying? Why do I feel like I've been gone for forever? And now it's coming back to me that I was being tortured in hell for years. Kind of getting emotional a little bit. That was honestly the worst thing that I've ever gone through in my entire life. I don't think that there is a pain that can be comparable to the pain that I felt during that trip. Yeah. So, never do salvia. Never, ever, ever do salvia. I remember I was texting my dad, and I was like, when are you gonna get home? I think I smoked a little bit of weed to calm down. And I just went to my room. kind of still paranoid, and my headspace was still all foggy and weird. That was such a fucked experience. Okay, if there's anything you can learn from my videos, it's to not do fucking salvia. Ugh. Alright, I'm done. I can't really talk about this anymore. This is really getting to me. I really just want to forget about this whole thing. But, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more videos, then, you know, like the video and comment. I really want to start posting regularly again. I don't really have that many more bad trips after this. Like, I think I have one that you can kind of consider bad, but this was by far the worst, at least so far. So, yeah, see you guys later. Bye.